With today's weather, this is called optimistic wardrobing. Okay, as a lifelong aviator, hanging around high-octane fuel and high-octane people, I'm a little uncomfortable with the word ignite. I much prefer the word contact, okay? So that's what I'm going to have with you this morning is contact about autonomous technologies and what they can mean for us and for our everyday lives. Everything you're hearing today, and several of the speakers this morning, and I'll continue the theme, is talking about disruptive technologies. That's the key difference between keeping up with the Joneses and getting ahead and staying ahead of them. So we're going to talk about disruptive technologies. Before we get into the specific one that I have been addressing, here's some examples of the difference that disruptive technologies have made, not just in the research, but in our everyday lives. The smartphone that you have in your pocket right now has more computing power than the entire space shuttle had. And you can see I've highlighted a few areas already that deal with autonomous technologies. What difference do they mean? If you're one of those families that will be involved in one of those crashes that will result in a fatality, that's a huge difference. If an autonomous vehicle can prevent that mishap. Last year there was a report came out talked about the next 12 disruptive technologies. I'm going to focus on a couple specific ones, but you can see many of these are interrelated. We already heard from Jan about how 3D printing is working on autonomous aircraft. So what's in it for us as economic development people? That's the question you have to ask and that people are asking you. Maryland is already a leader. We've declared ourselves as leaders in two areas. We're ready to declare ourselves as a leader in a third area, the third leg of the stool, autonomous technologies. The people that did this can do anything they put their mind to. The complexities behind landing and launching an X-47B on an aircraft carrier are incredible. As a former air boss, it's a little creepy too. It's an amazing aircraft. The everyday applications, though, of autonomous aircraft are already here. Several of them are already operating. The ones that aren't operating yet are very close. The technology to make these things happen is already here. The challenge part is right there. That is the national airspace on a single day in the United States with manned aircraft. How you integrate unmanned aircraft into that is the big regulatory challenge. The FAA and us, we have to do it safely, efficiently, and effectively. The uses that are currently out there right now with unmanned aircraft systems are primarily public safety related, and they're primarily operated by local, state, and federal governments. There is only one commercial application that's been authorized in the United States, and it was up in the Arctic to do energy research. But like that movie a couple years ago, you got to say, show me the money. This is where the money is. Agriculture, natural resources, Maryland, aquaculture, the Chesapeake Bay, the most productive estuarine system in the entire world is right here in our state. Every Marylander will be affected by these. The tool that the FAA has to address that integration issue is the UAS test site program. Via an MOU, we are part of the Virginia Tech team. So Virginia, Maryland, and New Jersey are going to be helping the FAA and actually part of that national network of test sites. We are a full operating member of the Mid-Atlantic Aviation Partnership to do research for and with the FAA on integration, but also to do business development and marketing to get the unmanned aircraft system going from the defense dollar to the commercial dollar. Our assets are spread across the entire bay, but in addition, with the research facilities we have, we're actually spread across the entire state, with the University System of Maryland, our government centers, our general aviation airports, even reaching with our partnerships into the other states. Our first operational flight, is going to be in June of this year. And as you've heard already, UAV Solutions manufactures the Talon 240, high-tech 20-foot wingspan, electric drive vehicle with a 4 to 6 hour endurance. This is going to be our truck to take systems into the air to test them. The state of Maryland is very well set up to execute these programs and to take research into revenue. Whether you talk about DBED, TEDCO, the University of Maryland programs, MIPS, DCI Corps, the new Innovation program that just came out from our last session, are very well set up. This difference, the UAS and autonomous technologies, will be just like the jet engine was to aviation, just like the internal combustion engine was to the general economy. And you can see in Maryland, over the next 10 years, it's going to make a significant difference. And the difference is going to be people's jobs. High-tech, high-paying, good jobs. And as you heard, technology drives the rest of the economy. But we have to be prepared. We have to train the workforce. We have to have the education programs in place that will prepare that workforce. A lot of people say, hey, Matt, that's never going to happen. You're never going to have UAS test sites. Ask people 10 years ago, would we ever have a commercial space launch industry? You got an alien looks. Like pun there? Today we have 5 up and running launch test site facilities. So as we address this, the University of Maryland is taking on the Unmanned Aircraft Systems test. We're then reaching out to the Autonomous Technologies Research Initiative to centralize the people, the human capital, to address these systems. And we have to do that with you, hand in hand, to make sure that these companies are set up to succeed. Thank you.